Hello, ladies and gentlemen. As Joker said today, we're gonna have some fun. Yeah, he had some fun. We're gonna have some fun, but different kind of fun. So I thought today we're gonna introduce vibe coding with Ashley, and probably your questions are, for those who are new to coding with AI, what in the heck is vibe coding? Which is a legitimate question, and more importantly, who is Ashley? And so Ashley, let's bring Ashley here to the front and center for a second. As you can see, she's a very, very nice lady, not just looking, but actually very nice in person. And she's a friend, and I just thought we'll have some fun with her photo. All right, so let's move Ashley out of the way for now, and we're gonna get to her in a bit here. So what is vibe coding? Vibe coding is nothing more than using AI to code some sort of application. Okay, that's the easiest way to describe it. You're using AI to do some coding for you instead of you doing the coding. The major misconception on the web, if you look at a bunch of videos, everything else, people are yelling, you can make all this money, you can make all these apps, everything else. It's a panacea. It's not, okay? Let me just tell you right now, it is not. Okay, vibe coding is a thing. It's definitely not a horrible thing. It's actually pretty useful in the right hands. Okay, if you are gonna go and give a bunch of plumbing tools to a person who doesn't know how to spell the word plumbing, they're not gonna get too far with these tools. In other words, just because you have a tool doesn't mean you know what to do. And it's very similar with vibe coding. That if you want to code something, they tell you one prompt and it'll code the application. Okay, some of it is partially true. Yes, I've seen some, most of them don't, but some of them do. On the one prompt, they actually code the app. The problem is it needs to be something very, very simplistic. In other words, number one, do you not only have to specify in a lot of details what you're trying to do, otherwise you're just not going to have a clue. But in addition to that, they come up with all kinds of errors, they try to fix them, they can't fix them. There's a bunch of iteration going on, and it does a decent job to a degree, but it also, for people who know what they're doing, it's very, very frustrating experience because it gets to the point where you're not saving time, you're killing time, more time than you would if you just coded it yourself. In some cases, not all the time, in some cases. Yesterday, I tried a couple of different vibe coding apps. Both of them failed miserably. Anything that's even semi-business related, that's even somewhat complicated, forget vibe coding, okay? You need to get somebody who knows what they're doing in addition to these vibe coding tools, then you can have some progress. If you want to do it yourself and you've never coded before, you're wasting your time, I can tell you right now. So with that said, hopefully I scared you enough about vibe coding. Let's do some vibe coding ourselves that actually is good, that you can do yourself, okay? So let's play with Gemini a little bit because it can create apps for you. We're actually going to code something in a bit here, but let's start with some of the ones I already created. If you're doing any kind of graphics at all, then you know there's all kinds of graphics editing applications. You can have different effects, you can have them in Photoshop, all these different things, all kinds of stuff. A lot of these programs are complicated, number one, okay? And this is where you might want to use something like aistudio.google.com to be able to have it help you go through some things you need to do, like in Photoshop, using their streaming function. Another topic for another video, but it allows you to do something like that. But if we just look at the apps that do graphics editing, graphics creation, they're complicated. Most of them are. If they have any kind of feature set at all, you know, the more features, the more complicated it gets. So that's one problem. Second thing, they don't necessarily offer all the capabilities that you're trying to get. What I mean by that? Let's say I want to do a special effect. Let's say I want to do something like sepia or something like black and white or monochrome or something like that. A bunch of programs already do that, no big deal. If you have one of those, you can use it. If you know how to use it, it'll create it for you. Okay, so you don't need an app for that. But if you wanted to do something a little more esoteric, let's say like in my case right now, I'm just thinking, what if I wanted to do a situation where I take an image and grab my logo, and I want to create a little strip at the bottom of the image with my logo on the right corner. So basically kind of like a watermark, basically, for images that I generate, okay? I mean, it's just an example. You can think of other things, but I'm saying in this case, let's say I wanted to create a watermark. Can I do this in Gemini? The answer is absolutely. I can go give it a prompt, tell it I'm uploading the image, there's my logo, drop the strip, do it whatever, 20% transparent. Basically give it all the information it needs, okay, because it needs to know what to do. It's not just going to do it because it can read your mind. And then once you give it all these instructions, it'll do it, okay? The problem is that it's a one-off process. What if I come back a few days later and I want to do it again? Either I need to find this particular thread in Gemini, and if you do a lot of stuff, you need to do searches all the time, and then you can say, now that it's done it for this image, now I'll do it for this image. You upload a couple new images and do it again. But again, you need to search it, you need to find it. If you don't look for it and find it, then you need to prompt it again. So you need to give it the same prompt again or a similar prompt again. You need to upload the images, things like that. It's a hassle to do all this stuff. It takes time, it takes effort. That's where I recommend you basically use the coding capabilities of Gemini in this particular example to create these what I call mini apps. It's a little app that does just one thing. Not what Photoshop does with all these different options and features. You don't need them. Okay, you just want to create some special effect. If we code the app, then we could do something like this. We can just take the app itself here, let's say my video image effects app, and it comes up. And this is, remember, this was completely created for me by Gemini based on my instruction. The way it works is it says upload your image. So we're gonna go ahead and grab Ashley from here somewhere. Where is Ashley? There's Ashley. Okay. And so there is Ashley's photo. And now I have some specific things that I wanted to be able to do on images. For example, let's say we wanted to go ahead and convert a color image like this one to be grayscale. So it's not monochrome, but it's grayscale. So you wait for a few seconds for it to do its thing, and there she is in black and white. Okay, looks very nice. The result could be saved. I have a button for save image, and let's try a different effect. How about color pencil? And so you see the original here, and you see the end result. I don't have to save it and stuff, and I can obviously start over and use a different picture, but we're working with Ashley today because Ashley is cool. And there is Ashley in pencil sketch. Okay, very nice. And then if we go to, let's say, black and white chalk, you can see it doesn't take long. It took maybe, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes at most to create the app, even less. And there's black and white chalk. Ashley in black and white chalk. See how she looks as a caricature. This caricature thing doesn't do like a really serious caricature where like you see people drawing on the street. So it's just a nice little variation. Okay. Yeah, not exactly a great job there, but you can try it again. Let's try it again and see what it does. Sometimes it produces better results, sometimes worse. But just for the heck of it, I just thought I'd have a caricature. Yeah, see, it creates it differently this time, but similarly. So let's do a color chalk and see what that looks like. And I'm showing it to you in real time, so you can see exactly how long it takes to draw. So this is beautiful right there. Very nice. Let's go ahead and click on save. And now it's saved it. And so if I go to the folder and then double click to pull it up, then it looks something like this, obviously. It's a decent resolution. This one is 1024 by 1024 pixels. I mean, if we go to 100% actual size, that's the actual size of this image. Fit it on screens like that. Okay, so that's wonderful. Obviously it saves it correctly, and now we have Ashley in a different way that we can use this picture, or she can use this picture for something else. So that's basically this little app that just does nothing but these effects on the images you specify. Very simple. Don't need to go to university to learn how to use the app. Very, very simple. Okay. Another thing I did that I've done before using this approach is also I have a deal for video effects. Because I was looking at the video by Luca, another one of my friends from LinkedIn, does these networking meetings on Friday. which I usually try to attend. And so I used to make these kind of fun images from some of these screenshots I would take. But this week I decided to do a video. I told it to code a video. It's called Video FX Booth. It says upload your MP4, apply effect, and save your new video. Let's go ahead and choose a video file. Let's say we choose, let's see what we have in terms of video files. Let's choose maybe this one. I don't remember what this is. So we chose a video file, and now it says choose an effect. So we have all these different effects that basically we can use. If we say preview, let's see what that looks like. So this is the original. Okay, it looks like this without making any changes or anything. It's one of these deals where he sneezes. Okay, now let's go ahead and choose, let's say, grayscale, and then we click on preview, and now it looks like this. Okay, and if I choose a different one, let's say like digital glitch, that's kind of going to be probably more subtle. Let's try that. You see, it's got these little lines going across it. So yeah, this effect I don't really like that much. Let's try neon noir and preview that one. There we go. Look at this guy. Okay, so it's like neon, and yeah, you just need the sneezing effect there. And let's do color chalk. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I'm not sure I like this one too much, but you get the idea. Okay, and then one of the things I did is for fun, I said, okay, why don't we just do a random effect? So it picks a random. So you can pick random, click on random, click on random, click on random. It just keeps coming up with these different, it's the same effects, but it just randomly selects one of them. So you can kind of see it quickly, determine what you want to do. But also there's this multi-random. And what that does, it basically creates the video is actually changing effects on the fly. So it separates into like multiple parts, and it's the same video, but it's all these effects, not all of them. Some of these effects are being changed while the video is playing. And then of course, when you get done, then you can go ahead and say, let's say we do this multi-random deal. We go ahead and click on record and save. It's going to go ahead and record what the video is, changing the effects on the fly. And then it's going to give us an MP4 file, WebM actually, but it's a video file. And I'll just play it back for you so you can see what it looks like. So there's the video. See, it changed to that, then changed to this, and then to this. So it's got three different effects it basically randomly goes through. You're not going to find this in any video application out there that does exactly what I just showed you. Why? Because they don't write stuff for every single whim, every single request. They have these standard things that they usually do when it comes to effects and different things like that, and that's all the app does. They program it to do that, and you're done. You can ask them to make changes, you can ask them whatever you want. They're not doing it because they're selling it to the masses. They cannot please everybody, okay? So that's where these apps come in, where you can simply put in fairly simple instructions and just create the stuff you want. Just create the stuff you need, so you don't have to worry about learning anything or going through a bunch of features you don't need. Just the feature that you want. So this is my other app I did. And then the last one I'm going to show you, which is kind of cool too, to create like a watermarker. You upload an image, put your logo on there. I mean, I don't care about any of this stuff. I just want to have a little app that does what I needed to do, and that's it. In my case here, let's go to AI images, wherever they are. See my drive, AI images, there we go. And we'll pick, I don't care which we'll pick something that looks really cool. How about this one? So that's the image, and then I click on upload logo, and I'm going to go to somewhere in here where my PCS logo is, right there. PCS logo. So I uploaded the image, the logo. Notice I didn't set it up so it actually shows me the images on the fly like the other apps did. This one didn't, which is fine. You can't tell it that as soon as I click on upload, select the file, show me the image, just like you saw the Ashley's photo, and then I was working from there. In this case, I don't really care about that much, so I just click on generate watermark, and there it is. There's the image, and you can see this translucent box with a huge logo on it. In my case, I wanted to make it 250 pixels high or tall, so that's why it's so huge. Obviously, you can make it smaller. It also depends on how wide, how big your image is. If the image itself is not that great, let's try a different one that's a little bit wider. Let's try something else here. Let's go to images. Let's pick, no, let's pick this one, for example. I think it's a bigger image. Upload the logo again. If I can find it easily, it's right there. And then generate watermark. Yeah, this one's also small. I need to get bigger images, that's why. But you can see the end result basically. It has a translucent little box here, my logo right justified, and so I can drop it on any image I want. And I can specify, it doesn't have to be the logo, it could be whatever you want to have. And you can have the app say, you can say, put company name here, phone number. You can give it all this information, say just generate all this text to go with my logo there. And it'll generate all that stuff and put it in there the way you want it. So the bottom line is there is really no limitations to how creative you can get with this and what you can do with this. It's just totally up to you. And then you create this little app and it'll do it for you every time. And then when you actually create the app, which we'll do a new one in a second here, then what you can do with the app is you can then share the link for the app with other people so they can use it too. If I wanted to, I could give you this link and you can actually use the same thing. Or what you can do is you can just do what I did, which is whenever you create the app, you get the link and you put it in a bookmark of some sort. So I have these 3 different apps here. And then you can easily jump between them by just selecting a bookmark. And then it takes a few seconds to load, but it's not too bad. Okay? So that's the examples of vibe coding. And now you understand what vibe coding is. Now let's actually do some vibe coding. And we'll use Ashley again as an example. And maybe you use some other images too. The way you do it is you go to Gemini and start from a fresh session here. Just hello Oleg, great. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna type the prompt. I'm gonna say, please create an app that would accept uploading an image, and then it would create diagonal stripes 100 pixels wide each, and it would make the strips be black and white. No, and use the strips as masks for the image, so anything within these strips will be in black and white, and the rest of the image in color. Okay, I'm not sure if I prompted it well enough, but let's give it a shot, see what it does. So here it is, 4:55 p.m. and we'll see how long it takes. Like I said, I'm going to do it in real time so you guys can actually see how long it takes, and let's see if it does it the first time or if you have to prompt. Sometimes you have to, it comes up with errors and then you can tell it to try to fix it. It just depends on what the situation is, but we'll see. This is not something super complicated. Let's see what it does. So it does a bunch of different things, and it kind of shows you what it's doing, so you have an idea, and then it generates the actual code. Once it initially figures out what am I going to do, how am I going to make this work, what is it going to look like, what is it going to work like, all that information. Once it comes up with a game plan, then it actually starts putting out the code, which is what you see here. As you can see, I'm not doing anything here with my hands, everything is done. And then we have something we can actually try. It's called image stripe mask. Okay, so if I upload an image, let's go back to Ashley. Hopefully she's not going to be mad at me for this. And look at that. We have strips, diagonal strips, that are in color and other ones that are not. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and upload another image. I'm not saying you would be doing this, I'm just giving you an example here, okay, of something really completely out of this world that no program out there would do. And you can see I created this thing in a minute. It is less than 2 minutes to create this. And now I can upload the image. I can go ahead and you can see the stripes, a little bit of the stripes right here, different colors. It's not quite visible enough. Now let's make a little change. Let's change it so the stripe width is, let's do it with 400 pixels. Now let's do 350 pixels wide, and make the, yeah, that's good enough. I'll just make wider strips and make sure the strips go across the entire image. Okay, so this is basically here. I'm gonna make a little change to the app, and so it's gonna make them a little bit wider, so it'll be easier to see. Let's try this again. Let's pick color image like this. Okay, you can really see now these white, black and white strips. Okay, and if I go upload a different image, let's see, it'd be a good image to upload. How about little Beatles action? Yeah, you can barely see black and white, but you can see some of these are black and white. The boys are here in color. This is black and white. You can see it's doing it. So the bottom line is obviously it works. And then of course if I download it, make sure that works. There it is. And if we open it, then there we go. Black and white, black and white. The guys are in color. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so it works. So now we have another app. Again, less than 2 minutes to code it. Does exactly what I wanted to do. If I wanted to make some little tweaks, little change, not a problem. Doesn't have to be black and white, could be something else. I could make it sepia, I could make it whatever. I could make it so it just makes strips with just white color or blue color, and on and on and on. I mean, there's a zillion possibilities of what you could do. And I'm just saying there's not another program again that'll do exactly what you want to do, but with this approach you can. And then over here where it's got the button here called share, if you click on it, click on share, it comes up and it says creating a link. And once this link is created, you can copy it, and then you can just easily bookmark it. I'm just going to go ahead and paste it in a new tab, and it loads up just like the other ones did. And I'm going to go ahead and drag it over to my bookmarks, under my projects, under mini apps, and this is image stripes masks. And you know, you don't have to call them this, you can call them anything you want. Like in my case, I don't want it to be saying Gemini or anything else. I'm going to say black and white strips masking, something like that. Okay, so I know what it is. Give it some name you like, and that's it. So now it's going to be black and white strip masking. That's it. We started just a few minutes ago, and now here we are, totally done, tested it, it's working. Was it more than one prompt? Yes, because I wanted to make changes. But initially it came up and it was working right from the get-go with just the first prompt. So think about the prompts you're using. Try to describe things as well as you can without going crazy and having a multi-page prompts. But you can describe, if it's something simple, you can describe it relatively well pretty quickly, as you just saw me do it. And you have yourself a new web app, and then you can drop it into bookmarks somewhere so you don't lose them, so you know how to get to them. My recommendation is definitely, once you get something you coded, and if it's something you're going to be using, absolutely get a link for it, and then bookmark it, and then you don't have to worry about it. It's always going to be available to you. Okay? I think we're done for today, and hopefully this was useful. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Before I let you go here, my sincere thanks to Ashley. Ashley White is actually her name, and I'll have a link to her LinkedIn profile below. She's a professional accountant, bookkeeper. So if you have a business and you need a bookkeeper, one of the nicest people you can meet, and she knows what she's doing. So it's an awesome combo between the two. And I heard rumor that she might start doing potentially taxes for people in the future. So it's going to be a all-around shop basically. But if you need any accounting help, jokes aside, definitely look into Ashley, and I'm sure she'll be able to help you. And until next time, I'm still Oleg. Thank you. Now that we're done with the main program, let's do a little Halloween bonus. This is something I shot a picture of at one of my neighbors. I thought they did a really cool job. It's an apartment building, but they still try to do something for the kids. They have little kids. And so what you can do, especially if you have kids, is you can take a photo of anybody's setup, no matter how small it is. This is pretty small. So we'll just take this photo, we'll download it from, in my case, Google Photos. Then what we can do is we can go back to Gemini. This is the image here, by the way, it was also generated in Gemini, as you can see. And what I can do is I can jump into the Create Videos with VO, which is their flagship video generation app. And you can see it says bring ideas to life with 8-second videos, which is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to add that photo. Hopefully one of these days Google will change so you can just drag it. You can do it with photos, but you can't do it with the video part. We're going to take this photo in there. And then we're going to write a little prompt. Bring this image to life by animating various characters, including some floating in a Halloween type fashion. Make it spooky but not too scary for the kids, and add nice Halloween music in the background, and have narrator say Happy Halloween in the voice similar to Vincent Price from the old movies. Okay, so let's try this and see what happens. This usually takes about 2 to 3 minutes to generate, and they do have some guardrails, as they call them, or limitations, where they don't do anything with the kids. It's one of these things that, like when you do different effects on photos, for example, using their image creation capabilities, they don't allow you to do any kind of manipulation of photos, for example, with kids in it. Adults, no problem. Kids, it's a no-no. And so it's nice to see that some companies are ethical enough to try to do whatever they can to keep things from going off the rails. Because there's a lot of things you can do with these programs these days, but you know, a lot of people misuse it also. So anything that can be used can be abused, as they say. All right, so remember, this is just a regular image, look like this. That's all it was, just image with a bunch of little things here and there, and I just took a picture walking by. I didn't do anything else. Okay, so let's see what it created.
Halloween! Happy Halloween! Happy Halloween!
This guy flew out and they were kind of floating a little bit. It's just one prompt. You can obviously try it again, create something else, and I want it to be something to be kid friendly, so I didn't make it too scary or anything like that. Notice it didn't do the Vincent Price voice saying Happy Halloween, but as far as kids go, I think this is perfect. Perfect little animation. And so that's something you can use to show to your kids, some other kids, for Halloween. Again, thank you, and I'll see you next time.
Happy Halloween from PCS. What are you looking at? You've never seen a real pumpkin man? Get a life! Ugh.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.